Today, you guys are actually going to be listening to me tell a story. A story that took place when I was in 8th grade. So, you guys will definitely be learning more about me. This is a new little series I do want to end up starting for you guys. And, and stuff like that. But anyways, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So this takes place when I was in 8th grade. So I was about 14 years old, 14, 15, you know. I was 14 going to 15, I guess you could say. And this day we were taking a test in school, the state test. I don't really like those tests. For one, I'm not really the best at test taking, and two, I don't, like I said, I don't really want to take. It's not even the best. I'm not the best at test taking. It's just I don't like math. I hate math. And so we, I walked into school, and the teacher gave us, what we needed to take the test, which is basically on a Chromebook. We took the test out on a Chromebook, and so I was starting, and like I said, I don't like taking tests, especially when it's math. And the first test I took was my math test, and so I got my test, and I said, hey, what? I kind of don't feel like taking the test. So what I did was I decided to push the buttons on the computer just to see what would happen, see like the kind of reaction I would get out of the computer from it. And it ended up actually like lagging the test out. Like it made the test just go back to. Dang it, what's the word I'm looking for? It made the test like kind of just go back to the like home screen where you like sign in and stuff for your student ID. And so that happened. And I told the teacher, I was like, hey, my test is kind of acting up here. And of course, it really wasn't. I knew what was up. I knew what the problem was. Like I said, I did it on purpose, because I didn't want to take the test. So I did this, and I told the teacher. Teacher said, okay, come up here, let me see your Chromebook and stuff like that. And I gave it to her, and she said, what seems to be the problem? And I go, well, my test kind of just kicked me out. It just like took me back to the home screen. So, okay. So she made me sign in all over again and stuff like that. And I did it again. And she was like, okay, I'm just going to have to send you up to the office because this is like, nah, this can't be happening. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got sent up to the office. And what ended up happening was I had to take the test with he wasn't the principal, but he was like lower than the principal. Like there's like the principal, and then there's him. And then there's the staff and the other staff and stuff like that. So I guess we'll call him Mr. C. So the teacher goes, hey, I'm gonna need you to go up to Mr. C to see if we can fix the problem. And I go, oh okay. So I go up there, and I open the door and I see my mom. My mom worked at my school, so it didn't bug me or anything. And anyway, so I tell him what the problem was. I'm like, yeah, so it just keeps kicking me out and stuff like that. And he looks at me, he's like, oh really? I'm like, yeah. So he goes, okay, well, just come in here and take the test. And I go, okay. So I took the test. He go out, does something, and I do it again. I press the same buttons again. Uh, and same thing happened. It kicked me out and stuff like that. And it kicked me out, essentially. And I told him, I was like, hey, yeah, it just happened again. He's like, okay, so you know what? What I'm going to have you do is I'm just going to have you take the test tomorrow. Because tomorrow was like makeups, the remake, and we'll make you use a different Chromebook. So that way maybe we'll get a different reaction out of it. So oh, okay. So we that's what we did, and on that day, on the day of the retake test, I did the same thing and it worked. So it wasn't something that was just on a specific Chromebook. It was on every Chromebook, you know. And I did this, and he goes, okay, so this is a little bit weird. And he fixed it himself. He did all that, which was cool. And he said, okay, so I contacted the company of the test, and they said that usually this happens by students pressing random buttons. And I go, uh-huh. And that's when in my head, I was like, damn, like, I think I'm about to get caught. Because, that's what the reason was. And he goes, so I'm going to let you do it again, but this time I'm going to be in the same room as you. And I go, oh, okay, all right. And so he was in the same room as me, and I said, hey, you know what, I'm going to I'm gonna go use the restroom, and I went to go use the restroom, and in my head, I was like, God damn it, I'm gonna have to actually take this test. And I went back and I started taking the test, and he left the room, and I just completely shut down my Chromebook. Like, I held down the power button, and it just kind of like, like I said, just shut down the Chromebook. And walks back in, and he goes, everything working fine? I'm like, no, my Chromebook just shut off. And I was like, oh, let me see. And I look at it, and he takes it to look at it, and he's like, okay, this is a little bit weird here, but something happened, so I'm gonna give you a different Chromebook. And I go, okay. So he goes, you know what? You're gonna take the test, but I'm gonna be watching you take the test. So I'm like, okay. And I actually ended up taking the test and got a pretty good score on it. Not gonna lie, got a pretty good score, and I think got like a B on it or something like that. Like you would average out to a B. It was like a 87.9% I got on the state test. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's basically average, or I think it was average or a little bit above average. And so I was finished with the testing. He goes, listen, I'm gonna have to have a little word with you. And I go, okay. He goes, so every single time this problem happened, no adult was watching you, no kid, like no student or anything. But yet, when there's no one around you, this happens. So, I'm getting a little bit suspicious that you are doing this purposely. And if that's so, then that's gonna lead to you getting suspended or possibly expulsion. And I'm like, huh? Like, what? Because it was crazy. I was like, what? Nah. And I was a pretty good student at the time, too. That was really the only bad thing I've ever done in school. There's multiple other bad things I've done in school, but, we could save that for a later time, later story. But anyways, he tells me, and he goes, I'm not going to tell your mom about this or anything like that, but he just tells me, I'm like, dang. And he's like, but hey, listen, just don't, if it was you doing it, just don't do it again. And I was like, you got it, sir. Like, and from that day forward, I never did it again. One, because that was literally like the state test. It's kind of like the finals that I take right now in high school, kind of like that, except didn't affect your grade. And I was like, oh, okay. And ever since that day, I've never done it again, and I don't encourage anyone to do it. I don't encourage anyone to do this at all. It's definitely not the smartest thing to do. But anyways, that's gonna be it for today's story. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I guess the moral of today's story is really just don't do anything purposely intentional of trying to get out of a test. It was really like a 50 question test. Now looking back on it, I wish I just kind of just took the test instead of going through all that. But anyways, like I said, the moral of the story, just work hard in school, I guess, and stuff like that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys like this series, because like I said, I do want this series to stay for us, for you guys. And like I said, I have tons of more stories to tell, and I'm only 16 years old. So there's going to be a lot more stories to tell later on in the future. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys can go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let me know of videos you guys want to see. If you guys want to see more stories, what kind of gameplay you guys want to see. I know that today's gameplay for this video was a little bit boring. This is actually all I do in this game, is just go on a baller and go on a tube. But anyways, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.